What if the biggest controversy at ABC isn't happening on camera, but behind closed doors? As Disney moves forward with another wave of layoffs, tensions inside ABC are reportedly reaching a boiling point. Now, The View is once again making headlines after its hosts publicly pushed back against Disney's leadership, questioning decisions that could reshape the network's future. But here's where things get even more interesting. Critics believe this isn't just about layoffs anymore. They argue it's about declining ratings, corporate restructuring, and a much larger problem Disney can no longer ignore. So, are these layoffs simply a business decision? Or are they the latest sign that something much bigger is happening behind the scenes at ABC? Stay with me because the details only become more surprising from here. One thing that has consistently kept The View in the spotlight isn't just the conversations happening around the table, it's the controversy that seems to follow the show almost every week. Whether it's political debates, heated exchanges, or criticism from viewers, the program continues to divide audiences unlike almost any other daytime talk show on television. Now, the show finds itself in the middle of another growing controversy, but this time the attention isn't focused solely on what was said during an episode. Instead, the discussion has shifted toward what's happening inside Disney and ABC as the company moves deeper into another major cost-cutting initiative. Over the past several months, Disney has been working to reduce expenses across multiple divisions of the company. That restructuring effort has already affected thousands of employees throughout the organization, and ABC has become one of the latest areas facing significant changes. After an initial round of workforce reductions earlier this year, reports now indicate that another phase is underway, with hundreds of additional positions expected to be eliminated as Disney continues reshaping its television business. As those reports gained momentum, reactions reportedly began surfacing from several of The View's most recognizable hosts, including Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and Sunny Hostin. According to the discussion surrounding the situation, all three have expressed frustration over Disney's latest decisions, creating yet another controversy involving the network at a time when ABC is already facing increased public scrutiny. This entire situation comes at a difficult moment for Disney. The company has spent months balancing cost reductions, organizational restructuring, and efforts to improve financial performance across several business units. Television, in particular, has become one of the areas receiving increased attention as traditional broadcast networks continue facing industry-wide challenges. And that's where this latest controversy begins. According to reports being discussed online, several comments made by members of The View criticized Disney's approach to the layoffs and questioned whether the company's leadership was making the right decisions during this period of restructuring. One of the strongest reactions reportedly came from Sunny Hostin, who argued that large-scale layoffs send the wrong message, especially for a company as influential as Disney. She questioned whether reducing staff was truly the best path forward and suggested that these decisions could quickly become political talking points across social media and cable news. Sunny also reportedly argued that many online discussions surrounding the layoffs were being driven more by political narratives than by the actual business realities facing the company. According to her, much of the public conversation risks becoming less about employees losing their jobs and more about partisan arguments that further divide audiences. Not long afterward, Joy Behar reportedly echoed many of those same concerns. She questioned whether Disney CEO Josh D'Amaro should reconsider the company's strategy, arguing that widespread layoffs could create the impression that ABC is struggling even if the network continues operating successfully in other areas. Joy reportedly suggested that the decision could unintentionally fuel additional criticism toward both Disney and ABC at a time when the company is already under heavy public scrutiny. But that's only one side of the debate. Critics looking at the situation from a different perspective argue that these workforce reductions aren't happening in isolation. Instead, they believe they're part of a broader effort by Disney to respond to changing business conditions, shifting viewer habits, and the financial pressures affecting traditional television across the industry. And this is exactly where the conversation becomes far more complicated. At the center of that debate is a question that's becoming harder to ignore. Are these layoffs simply part of Disney's long-term restructuring plan, or are they a response to deeper problems facing ABC? Many critics believe the answer is a combination of both. For months, ABC has been facing increased scrutiny over the performance of several of its biggest programs. Viewership trends, changing audience habits, and the steady shift towards streaming have all created new challenges for traditional television. At the same time, Disney has been looking for ways to reduce operating costs across multiple divisions, making workforce reductions part of a much larger corporate strategy. That's why some analysts argue these layoffs shouldn't be viewed as a surprise. Instead, they see them as another chapter in Disney's broader effort to reshape the company for a rapidly changing media landscape. Still, that explanation hasn't stopped the backlash. According to reports surrounding the situation, Joy Behar and Sunny Hostin continued expressing concern that the layoffs could damage public confidence in ABC. They reportedly argued that large-scale job cuts may encourage people to assume the network is facing serious financial trouble, even if Disney describes the decision as part of a long-term business strategy. From their perspective, perception matters just as much as reality. Once headlines begin focusing on layoffs, viewers naturally start asking questions about the health of the network itself. But many critics aren't convinced by that argument. They believe Disney wouldn't be eliminating hundreds of positions unless executives believed major operational changes were necessary. Whether those changes are being driven by financial performance, long-term planning, or a combination of both, critics argue the layoffs reflect a company that's actively trying to streamline its television business. And then, another familiar voice entered the conversation. According to reports, Whoopi Goldberg also weighed in, expressing concern over the impact these workforce reductions could have on employees throughout ABC. She reportedly described the layoffs as unfortunate for the people affected and questioned whether such significant job cuts were truly necessary. Like the other hosts, Whoopi also suggested that the story surrounding the layoffs could quickly become politicized, with different groups using the situation to support their own narratives rather than focusing on the employees themselves. On the surface, all three hosts appeared united in criticizing the decision, but that quickly led to another question circulating online. Was this genuine disagreement with Disney's leadership, or something else entirely? Some commentators have suggested the public criticism may have been exactly that, real frustration directed toward company leadership. Others, however, aren't so sure. A number of critics believe the exchange may have also benefited The View itself by generating headlines, social media discussion, and another viral moment for a program that frequently dominates entertainment news whenever controversy erupts. After all, it's unusual to see television personalities publicly challenge executives at the very company that owns their show. That alone has fueled speculation about what may actually be happening behind the scenes. Whether those comments reflected authentic disagreement or simply became another high-profile television moment remains open to interpretation. What is clear, however, is that Disney's restructuring plan continues moving forward regardless of the criticism. Reports indicate that the latest phase of workforce reductions follows months of planning and represents another step in the company's broader effort to reduce expenses and reorganize several areas of the business. And as those changes continue, ABC finds itself under even greater public attention. But the story doesn't end there, because many observers believe these layoffs are only one piece of a much larger picture involving Disney's television strategy, ABC's future, and the long-term direction of some of the network's highest-profile programs. Now, regardless of where you stand on this debate, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. ABC is going through a major transition. Disney has already started implementing its cost-cutting strategy, and these workforce reductions appear to be part of a much larger restructuring plan. The company says it's about improving efficiency, while critics argue it reflects the growing pressure facing traditional television. That's why many people are connecting these layoffs to ABC's overall performance. Shows like The View and Jimmy Kimmel Live have remained at the center of public debate for months, and while Disney hasn't directly linked any specific program to the layoffs, the network as a whole continues to face increased scrutiny. As for the comments made by the hosts, opinions remain divided. Some viewers believe they were simply defending their colleagues who are losing their jobs. Others believe the criticism aimed at Disney's leadership was unnecessary, especially while the company is trying to reduce costs across multiple divisions. Either way, the reaction online has been significant, and the conversation surrounding ABC doesn't appear to be slowing down anytime soon. What do you think? Do you agree with Disney's cost-cutting strategy, or do you think the hosts of The View have a point? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the WokeWatch, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest Hollywood and entertainment updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.